Have you ever wondered how great athletes do what they do? Have you ever wondered what is it that these athletes, that these people have, that those below them don't have? This has been my obsession, my line of inquiry for well over 20 years. I wanted to find out what is it that sets the best out from the rest? And what is it that prevents really talented athletes actually maximising on their potential? Well, for over 20 years, I've been researching meticulously exactly what is going on with these athletes. And not only that, I've been learning about how to model and grow and use the techniques, the strategies which they've developed, often accidentally, and I've packaged them up to help athletes just like you develop these skills. Because what I found out was that it's not genetics which is determining what they do and how they perform. The thing which came up time and time again with these elite athletes and those who were able to consistently perform at a high level versus those who were not. The thing which set them apart was the inner game. They had mastery over the inner game and their mind, and this gave rise to the ability to master their body, because you cannot have one without the other. There is a continuous loop between the mind and the body. The mind and body are in constant communication with each other, assessing each other, reviewing what's going on, and acting in accordance to what the mind is seeing, the body is feeling, and so on and so forth. So when you are outperforming in the sport that you play, using and maneuvering your body in the ways that you do, it obviously feels like it's the physical body that's doing everything. But this is just the executioner. The thing which is driving everything is your subconscious mind. And what these athletes, the great athletes, were able to do is gain control over their subconscious mind in ways which other athletes weren't able to do. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about just 4 of the fundamental characteristics and habits that the great athletes have. And I've discovered many more, but today we're just going to focus on these 4. Number 1, they have unbelievable levels of trust in themselves. Doubt very, very rarely enters their mind. What do I mean by this? Well, when you trust yourself and you trust your performance, if they and you make a mistake, then it doesn't lead to a collapse. Or if they make a couple of mistakes, it doesn't lead to a collapse inside the mind. Because when you trust yourself, when athletes trust themselves, the self-worth doesn't get crushed or affected. And those that do start to underperform when they make a few mistakes, the thing that's really going on is that their self-worth is affected. They start to doubt if they're good enough. They start to fear being rejected by coaches, players, opposition, friends. They trust themselves no matter what. They know that all of these hours that they spent working on their craft, sculpting their mind and body to be able to do what they do best, the thing that they love the most. They put trust in this process. They put trust in their ability. They know that they themselves as an identity and a person, they know they're going to find a way. And if you're going to find consistency with your results, with consistency with your performance, it's about time you start trusting yourself. Because if you're having doubts, if you're feeling nervous, if you're feeling the pressure, if you're getting angry and feeling frustrated, that's a feeling, and those feelings are coming from somewhere. And the feelings are attached to a belief that you have about something, someone, some event, some place. So there's doubt there, often. So one of the best gifts that you can give yourself is to trust in yourself, believe in yourself, know that you're going to get it right, know that you're going to make some mistakes, and know that you're going to overcome them regardless. And you're going to overcome them and trust yourself regardless of what anyone else says or what anyone else thinks of you. Number 2, they're unstoppable. No amount of failure, no amount of mistakes is going to stop them. They're just going to keep going. The great athletes are prepared to do things that others aren't prepared to do. They're prepared to get up at 5 a.m. and do workouts before other athletes are even getting up. The Cristiano Ronaldos, the Kobe Bryants, they were getting up and training at 4 a.m. Ronaldo was found at 14 with ankle weights on his feet, training in the gym at Sporting Lisbon. Kobe Bryant had a deal with a janitor in his school over in America who would let him in early doors so he could get a couple of hours practicing. They're doing things behind closed doors which other people aren't aware of. They're rewarded in public for what they've done in private, and they're prepared to do anything. They're prepared to keep finding more and more ways. The top athletes are consistently looking for these small marginal gains, the 1%ers, which just keep stacking up over time. Can they get their diet right? Can they improve their sleep? Can they get better at their strength and conditioning? Can they get better at developing their mental performance? Can they improve their skills? Can they improve their techniques? Whatever it is, they're looking for all of these things which are going to separate them from the best. They get hit with obstacles, they lose, they make errors, they underperform sometimes, but they don't let the obstacle get in the way. They find a way over, under, or around it. And it all comes down to belief. When you believe in yourself, and you know you're just going to find the answers no matter what, whether it's today or tomorrow, with this type of mentality, the belief of I am unstoppable, these athletes keep taking their performance to greater and greater levels. There is no boundary, there is no line, there is no ceiling. They keep smashing through and progressing. The third key characteristic, they're precise planners. There is no accident. Their time is of a premium, and they're utilising their time to maximise their performance, to maximise their potential. They are dedicating specific time slots into doing what they do. I'm going to spend this amount of time working on this technique. I'm going to spend this amount of time developing my core stability. I'm going to spend this amount of time organising my diet. I'm going to spend this amount of time working on developing my mental performance. They have it mapped out. They use their 168 hours a week and they have it mapped out. They're not wasting time. They're turning up and maximising the day. And often the early risers, they're often getting up before other people because they've got it mapped out, they've got it planned. These are when I'm training for these things. This is the amount of time that I'm committed to giving to developing X, Y, Z, whatever it may be. Fourth characteristic, they're energized, they're ready to go. They have mastered the ability to control their state. Probably the biggest driver to performance is controlling your state, getting your state up into peak state for your performance, for your sport, and making sure that that peak state is in line with the flow state, the sweet spot of performance. They don't have the off days, or they certainly don't have more than one. They're going to step up and they're going to go out there and they're going to go to the max every single time. They don't just raise it for the big occasions. Every occasion is a big occasion. And you need to learn how to energize your neurology. Because when you can energize your neurology, you can energize the rest of your physiology. Because states, how you're feeling, I'm feeling motivated, I'm feeling tenacious. I'm not feeling up for it. I'm feeling sluggish. Wherever you are on that line when you're training and performing, they are producing neurochemicals associated to those feelings. Doubts and nerves are often felt in the gut. These are the neurohormones and the hormonal chemicals produced like adrenaline and cortisol, which make you feel nervous. It's the overproduction of adrenaline pumping through your body, and this is perceived by your mind, and your mind detects it as danger. When you're not in that state, when you're in a state of flow, a state of energy, a state of tenacity and desire, fear is switched off. You're feeling a completely different set of neurochemicals, and they are able to turn this state on when they need it. Every training session and every competition and every match, they can flick it on and they can flick it off. Some of the greats, Michael Jordan, he struggled to turn that switch off, but he still had a switch, and he could switch it on when it was time to train, when it was time to perform. So learning how to energize your state, being able to step into the arena feeling energized, feeling charged, are really critical for you to keep on performing consistently, for you to keep being able to maximize your potential. So I've just given you 4 of the key fundamentals of greatness, of those athletes who consistently perform at a super high level. And I've got many more of these characteristics and traits. These are just 4 of them. So perhaps you can start to spend some time assessing in these 4 areas of trust, of being unstoppable, of being precise planners, and energizing your state. Ask yourself, out of 10, where do you rate yourself in these areas? Do you really trust yourself? Or do you only trust yourself when everything's going right? Are you truly unstoppable? Are you really doing everything that you could be to maximize your potential? Or are you only just kind of doing it? Some things that you're doing that are half measures. And if you are, then now's the time to change them. Now's the time to be honest. Look in that mirror of accountability and ask yourself, am I doing enough? Am I really unstoppable? Or am I relying on talent that I had from the past? Or the fact that my physical ability was a lot better and bigger and stronger and faster in the past? Time will catch up, because you're either growing or diminishing. And when you're unstoppable, you keep going forwards, you keep going upwards, and constantly trying to find the 1%ers. Are you a precise planner? How are you managing your time? You have 168 hours in a week. How do you use that time? How much of it is spent on rest and recovery? How much of it is spent on your nutrition? How much of your time is spent on developing strength and conditioning? How much of that time is spent on rehabilitation? How much of that time is spent on developing your core stability? How much of your time is spent on analysing your performance? How much of your time is spent on developing your tactical understanding of your sport? How much of your time is spent on developing your individual techniques and skills? There are a multitude of things that you can be doing. Are you really maximising your time? Are you planning your time wisely? If not, now's the time to get some kind of performance plan or a diary and start mapping out your time. Can you and do you, every single training session, every single competition, can you energise your state? Can you step into the arena to train and perform and light up your neurology, ready to go? So I've given you some things to think about here today. If you want to become a great, then there's 4 things right here that you need to begin working on, that you need to start improving and tweaking. And the best place to start is by being honest with yourself. So I hope you found these 4 key habits and characteristics useful. And I've got more of them coming your way. So keep checking out these videos, subscribe, like, and share these with other athletes who you feel may be interested about learning more. Thanks again. See you soon.